a great job and lots of money is not the basis and foundation of a fantastic, loving and committed relationship. Good morning, everyone. I'm Trey with the First Date Fix, and today I'm going to be talking about unrealistic dating expectations, because remember, the year is 2021 and I want you to do things differently. I myself have struggled in the past with having unrealistic dating expectations, and I don't want you to have unrealistic dating expectations too. The first unrealistic dating expectation is a classic. It's an oldie, but a goodie. It's wanting your man to be 6 foot plus. There are only 14% of American males who are 6 foot plus. What that means is that you're missing out on 86% potential partners that might be either the same height or just a tiny bit smaller than you. 86 potential partners that you could be perfectly happy with just because you want to date that tall man who is 6 foot plus. I want to tell you a story. I went on a date with a lovely lady who was 5'9". Now I'm 6 foot, which, you know, is 14% again of the US population. So I figured to myself, okay, she can't be too upset. I am a bit taller than her. And she said this to me on the first date within the first 5 minutes of us meeting. She said, "Oh, I seem like I'm almost as tall as you." And I said, "Oh, okay." I mean, I'm 6 foot. Is that an issue for you? And she said to me, "Oh, no issue. My last boyfriend was 6'4". And I remember thinking to myself, okay. And then I went back home and I remember thinking, how much of the US population is 6'4"? 2.3% of the US male population is 6'4", which means her chances of finding someone are even more dramatically decreased. Suffice it to say, I did not go on a second date with her. I was very, very turned off by that. I just felt like that was so weird. Number 2, dating someone who makes 6 figures. Look, I hate being the clipboard Charlie that keeps giving you percentages and data, but I want to base some of your wants into some grounds of reality, i.e. only 9% of the country is making 6 figures plus, which means that you are missing out on 91% of potential partners that could make you happy. 91%! Look, money is great, but a great job and lots of money is not the basis and foundation of a fantastic, loving and committed relationship. I know that money equals some sort of security, but again, it is not founded on great relationships. I'm sorry, it's just the reality of it. And remember this, the more money someone makes, the more they're going to work, the less you're going to see of them, the less your future kids are going to see of them. So you have to weigh out the pros and cons when you're looking for someone that makes 6 figures plus. And typically when people are making 6 figures plus, they have a very A-type personality. Again, I'm not going to generalize anyone, but that's just what I found in my experience. If you do want to date someone who makes 6 figures, do you make 6 figures? What do you bring to the table that's going to be equal to them making 6 figures? I'm not saying this to shame any of you, but again, I'm just trying to ground you with some realistic expectations. You know, with the pandemic, a lot of people found themselves needing to be humble. With the economic crash of 2008, a lot of people found themselves in trouble in their relationships because the person that they initially thought was for them was only for their money. What if you get an injury? What if the person who is making 6 figures finds himself in a debilitating injury that they can't recover from? Are you going to still want to be with that person? It has to go deeper than any kind of monetary value. Number 3, you want someone who is an IG model, movie star, good looks. I wish. And guess what? Only 14% of the US population works out, which means you'll probably only get 14% of people who are actually in shape and have that movie star good look and body. 28% of Americans eat healthy. So again, your chances are going to be narrowed down again and again if you want this specific dating archetype. Unless you are in shape, unless you consider yourself an Instagram model or someone with movie star good looks, if you are asking that of someone but you don't have to bring those things to the table yourself, it's highly unrealistic that a person of that caliber is ever going to choose you. It could happen, right? But it's just unrealistic. People date people who they feel like are as attractive as them. I know it sounds harsh, but that's just kind of how it is, because subconsciously we are always thinking about our kids. We want our kids to have the exact kind of genes as the person that we're typically attracted to. So it's not so much that this person's out of your league or you're out of their league, but it's just kind of how we're biologically wired, unfortunately. You want someone who's really attractive but doesn't know they're attractive. What? Everyone to some degree knows they're attractive, especially in the social media vapid, looks obsessed age that we're in. Everyone knows they're attractive, okay? And if they say they don't, then they're just playing with you. Like, I always find it weird when I watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, and you've got people who are just stunningly attractive, man or woman, and they say, I'm just so nervous right now. Really? As if you don't get people randomly approaching you on the street on a daily basis, as if you don't get a million bazillion different likes with your 50K followers when you're promoting your skincare regime, right? Come on, man, you're attractive. Stop playing, okay? Wanting someone who is very attractive but doesn't know they're attractive is like getting a crackhead at a weightlifting contest. It's just not gonna happen. You want someone who is masculine and sensitive. Can you get someone who's masculine and sensitive? Absolutely you can. But those are high quality people who are very few and far between. Unless they're very well read and self-aware, I wouldn't count on it. You can get both, but it is a rarity. Like I said, there are some men that do possess both traits, but sometimes one has to outweigh the other, and you have to come to grips with yourself as to which one's more important to you. For example, if you want a man who has a rich and large sense of traditional masculinity, you can't expect him to adapt to all the feminist ideologies that you have. I'm not saying that either one is good or bad, so don't come for me, but I am saying that one will probably outweigh the other, so you kind of have to play out that mentality in your head, figure out which one holds more weight in your own personal life. You can see people in the initial stages of dating, but they can't. I'll never forget when I had a focus group. I used to do focus groups about dating and relationships every week in preparation for my book. And I said to, the ladies and men of the group, I was like, if you're dating someone and you really like them, do you still want to see other people and weigh out your options? And most of them said yes. And I said, what if that person you really like was doing the same thing? Would you like that? Guess what most of them said? No. Unanimously, in fact, all of them said no, meaning that you're happy to see other people, but they can't do that. Look, you can't have it both ways. I don't know why we live in such a rich society as to everyone wants their cake and everyone wants to eat it too. You can't have it both ways. Unless there's an initial conversation where both of you are very clear, I'm seeing other women, I'm seeing other men, it's just not going to work. Typically, if I really like a woman and it's the third date and the third or fourth date and certain things have happened, I'm very clear. I'm like, look, this has happened with us. I'm probably going to be dating you exclusively. If you want to see other people, let me know. And if they say, I think I'd still like to see other people, then I'll cut the cord. But I've had that conversation. I've been clear with them. Unless you're willing to have that conversation and be clear with both parties, it might not work in your favor. Dropping hints. They should just know. That is such a crazy, unrealistic expectation. No one's that intuitive. Despite my best efforts, despite all the books I've read, sometimes I just have to ask. Be very clear with your expectations. Be positively direct. Be upfront with what you want. Never get mad at someone because you didn't express your true heart's desires. Comparing all your dating scenarios to TV and movies. Your TV and life is not a romantic comedy. This is not Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, The OC, Gossip Girl, Riverdale, and then Bridgerton, right? Or The Crown, whatever unrealistic TV trope expectation you have. It's TV. They've made that so you will watch it. They've played on your emotions. In most settings, this just does not happen. This isn't The Bachelor where he whisks you off in an air balloon followed by takes you on a $2,000 shopping trip. It doesn't happen for the most part. Be willing to fight for you. Unless you have 3 months plus of a relationship ingrained in the both of you, no one should have to fight for you. Why would anyone fight for someone that they've been on under 4 dates with? What do you really know about that person? It's nuts to me how people can have 10 plus suitors trying to vie for their attention, but they choose the person who's willing to fight for them. When the other men or women have clairvoyance enough to know, I don't really know this person, I want to get to know them mutually, but that's about as far as it should go. No one's going to fight for you if they don't know you. Wake up, okay? Wake up. And last but not least, one of my favorites, the dating buzzer beaters. They're these people. You know, I've had my fun for the last 10 years, now I'm ready to settle down. Those are those people who have spent their whole life from their 20, from when they're 30, partying, hookup culture, dating an abundance of people, never really taking people seriously, focusing on their career, focusing on all these other pursuits. Again, these aren't bad things. But when you spend so long focusing on those things, the universe isn't going to be like, oh, now you're ready to take someone seriously and actually find a relationship. Okay, here's a line of men or women. It doesn't work that way. You have to be constantly in the pursuit of finding someone that you're supposed to be with. And that doesn't necessarily mean going out on an abundance of dates trying to find that person. That means reading books. That means working on yourself. That means being very, very open to any opportunity that could be your potential love. But if you spend the last 10 years actively avoiding any kind of relationship or commitment, the dating universe isn't going to do that for you. It's not going to turn around and be, oh, you've wasted 10 years. Come on in. Here's your perfect match in a handcrafted box. Most of those other people who have put a good 5-8 years putting in work within themselves, actively putting themselves out there, putting themselves in scenarios that could yield to a potential partnership, they are going to be rewarded. Those people who didn't take it seriously for all those years, it will not happen that way. Dating and relationships isn't just about actively dating and finding the one. It's all about a process of self-improvement, self-love, and most importantly, figuring out what you can truly offer and bring to the table. And you're not going to have that if you want to do those dating buzzer beaters. Again, the dating universe does not work that way. Thank you so much for your time. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video. And if you found it beneficial and there were some tidbits that you generally would like to apply to your life, feel free to give me a follow, a subscription, and a like. I would knock you for it.